Why would I do it the normal way when I can do it the fucking extra ass way? I don't require your tiermaker.com when I can just do my own shit. So I've got all the major and minor cities in the game. Well, I have all the major cities and all the minor cities except Mordona, because I don't count Mordona. I don't count Revenant's Toll as a minor city because it's too minor. There's nothing there. Yes, you spend a little bit of time there. The Scion HQ is there for a little bit, but it just doesn't count as a minor city. It's too small. It's too minor to count IMO. So, like, spoilers for places that exist in Final Fantasy XIV, I guess, but I'm not going to be really talking about the plot much. Mordona, the place, so nice to name it twice. Also, Mordona, what I say to the man in the kebab shop if he asks me if that's enough meat. Those are my two Mordona jokes. And that's all I would have ever said about Mordona. Those are my two Mordona jokes. Now we never have to talk about Mordona again. But yeah, Mordona listed as another, that makes sense to me. Because again, I don't classify it as a minor city in the way that like the others are, you know what I mean? Also, can I do this? I only have, yeah, there we go, and then I can take Firefox off of this list, because you can still hear that, right? You can still hear the music's still vibing. Yeah, like Mordona, like some really good plot happens in Mordona, but it just doesn't count. But let's start from the bottom. Let's start from the starting cities. And the first one I'm going to mention is Gridania. Now, Gridania, I didn't like Gridania when I first started playing. I'm going to blow this up and it's going to be pixelated as fuck because I destructed these layers while making them small. Gridania... I didn't like Gridania when I started, just because I don't know, I wasn't in the right sort of vibe space for it. But this is a problem that I have with all three of the major cities. They are split into two, and I don't like that from a navigational standpoint. You need to know, because you need to remember, is where I'm going in New Gridania or is it in Old Gridania? And inevitably, you can only ever teleport to the one, and then you have to go through the loading screen to get to the other half. It's a bit of a pain in the ass, I gotta say. But Gridania has a really nice sort of vibe about it. I definitely underestimated it when I started, but now that I've spent a lot of time in there going through White Mage Mondays, I think maybe it's a B tier. Or possibly no, I don't think it's an A tier. I think it's a B tier. I think it's a B tier city. That feels right to me. I might shuffle these around later, but it feels like a B tier city to start with. Yeah, I feel like just for now, a B tier city is the way to go. You'll let me live for that. Cool. Limsa Lominsa, my starting city. The place where I began my adventure, the place where seemingly all of the fucking freaks gather, and generally the sort of hub for the game, Limsa Lominsa. Naturally, I'm quite a fan of Limsa Lominsa. It was my starting city. It's where the Rogues Guild is. It is where the pirates are. It's a very pretty city. The combination of like the ocean, the white brickwork, and the sort of kind of generic fantasy town, but at the same time a little bit different because obviously it's on the ocean. It's what we rate in. We are rating Final Fantasy XIV major cities. Also, welcome in Jedi. Welcome to your Friday night's entertainment. I'm going to be here a while. I didn't go through the criteria for rating. It's partially visuals, it's partially like music, it's partially like just the vibe, just the vibe. Just how do I feel? Do I like going there? Do I like navigating there? So Limsa, I think is the best of the 3 starting cities. I think it's by far the best of the 3 starting cities, just because it's the music's really great. Both the day and the night themes are great. I would put it in S tier, but all of the freaks are there, and the freaks bring it down a peg, so it's going in A tier. The freaks ruin Limsa, but Limsa I think is an A tier city, A tier city easily. And I don't think the freaks. Some of the freaks are funny. Some of the freaks are just freaks. I'm all for a freak, but sometimes the freaks are a little bit too much. You know. Olda. Let's talk about Olda. I hate Olda so much. I'm not a fan of Olda. One, it's visually boring because it's just fucking brown. It's just fucking brown. It's not easy to get around because all 3 of the different, basically 2 of because the husting strip is like nothing, but the Steps of Thal and the Steps of Nald are both nightmares to navigate because they have layers, and the map is not good at telling you what layer you're supposed to be on. It's boring, it's hard to navigate, the music in it is also just kind of boring, and generally I don't like going there because it's full of hyper-capitalistic Lalafels, and I don't need that in my life. Bad vibes. The only redeeming feature is the Blue Mage Citadel is there. Master Carnival is there. I'm putting it in D tier. Olda. Am I pronouncing that wrong? Is it Olda? Am I pronouncing that wrong? Is that how they say it on the British server? It's how they say it in this house. How are you supposed to say Olda? Is it a very short? Is it Olda? I don't know how it's supposed to be pronounced. It's Olda. Either way, it's bad. Either way, it's bad. And I play on the French server, so you can't trust anything that I say. It's short, so it's Olda. It's like Rads at Han later in the game. Like people will shorten that to Rads, but it's Rads at Han. Ishgard. Let's talk about Ishgard. I don't hate Ishgard. It's Olda. Olda, I see. Olda, I'll remember that. Olda. Again, like Rads at Han. Ishgard, again. Bit of a navigational nightmare is Ishgard. Bit of a navigational nightmare. And I really think the broom is underutilized as fucking Ishgard. Give me like 5 more quests exploring the broom. Make the broom more than just a straight line. Like it's a fucking Pokemon Sword and Shield city is the broom. It's not very well like built on at all. And like you could have done something really cool with the contrast between the rich and the poor of Ishgard. They touch on it. They very like lightly touch on it, but they do not make enough of it that I think either flesh it out more or take it out completely. Ishgard is maybe a B, maybe a C. Oh, is it a B tier or a C tier? The navigational nightmare, missed potential, is definitely better than Olda. Definitely better than Olda. I think it's going to be a C tier. I think Ishgard's a C tier. I reserve the right to change anytime. But next up is Idleshire. I really like Idleshire. I think Idleshire's a great little place. Apparently, like it got built slowly over some patches, which is really cool. Big fan of that. But I only know the Ishgard that we have now. So I only know the Idleshire that we have now. So I quite like it. I like the I like the inhabitants. It's very easy to get around because everything's quite compacted. It is our first minor city, so obviously it doesn't have all of the amenities. Like, there's no inn there. I don't think there's a retainer bell there. But being a minor city, it doesn't need to have all those things. I quite like Idleshire, just as a vibe. And it's got goblins, and I like the goblins. I really like the goblins in 14. I think Idleshire's an A tier. I think Idleshire's an A tier. Nothing wrong with Idleshire. It's not S tier because it's not doing anything exceptionally well. Nothing wrong with it. I think Idleshire's an A tier. Next up, Kugane. Let's go to good old Kugane. Kugane was the first time that I changed my starting city from Limsa. That I changed my home teleport from Limsa. I changed it to Kugane. I really like Kugane. Not just for its theming, which is completely like on point. Not just for its music, which is fucking on point, but also for like how easy it is. Like we went through 2 patches. We went through ARR and we went through Heavensward of all of the major cities being split into 2 because they didn't know how to make one area big enough, I assume, to house everything. And then Kugane comes along and it's like, this is a major city. It's as big as all the other major cities. It's as built up. It has all the amenities of all the other major cities, but it's in one contiguous landmass. You can get from the market to the inn to everywhere else that you need to get to in Kugane without a single loading screen. The tower jumping puzzle can suck my nuts, but other than that, Kugane, flawless. Kugane, S tier. Kugane is an S tier city. I do need to cut it a little bit because why is it longer than everyone else? There we go. Kugane is our first S tier city. And that might be a little bit controversial, but I adore Kugane. I think Kugane is great. No F tiers yet. We're going pretty strong. Our next is the minor city for Stormblood, Rhalgr's Reach. Rhalgr's Reach? Rhalgr's Reach? I never really paid attention when they said it out loud, because I'll be honest, Stormblood kind of lost me by the end. My take on Stormblood is a really fucking good idea. It's a really, really good story with some really, really good characters. Some of my favorite characters in the game started in Stormblood. But the way it presents that idea is hot fucking garbage. It has fucking samurais, it has Xenos, it has pirates, and it made me disinterested and it made me check out. That is how poorly I think Stormblood did. So Rhalgr's Reach, I was kind of checked out by the time I got to Rhalgr's Reach, but it's a nice enough place. It's a pretty, like, it is, again, it's a minor city, so there isn't everything, there isn't all the amenities of the major cities, but as minor cities go, I think it might be B tier, because again, like, I can't think of the music being fantastic. I can't say great things about the music of Rhalgr's Reach just because I don't remember it. But I think, like, navigationally it's fine. I like that you can ride your mount in there, and I know and you can ride your mount in other minor cities as well. You can't fly, but you can ride the mount, which means you can get around the city faster, because one thing that Final Fantasy XIV needs to do that fucking Guild Wars 2 does, once you're in a safe zone, you should always have your sprint on. Your sprint should be on by default all the time when you're in a safe zone, like when you're in a sanctuary, sprint should always be on. Because why would it not be that way? Give everybody Peloton when they're in a sanctuary, because that just makes life easier for everyone. So the ability to ride your mount in the minor city, that's always a bonus for me. I think Rhalgr's Reach is a B. It's not as good as Idleshire. It's not as good as Idleshire. So it can't be above. It can't be an A. It can't be above a B tier because it's not as good. Again, I don't know why. I tried to make all these the same size. I think Ralga's Reach is B tier because it's not doing anything exceptionally well, but it's fine. It's fine. Crystarium. The motherfucking Crystarium. The Crystarium, again, this is a very, very long picture. I don't know why. I just failed at making all of these the same size. The Crystarium is one of the most beautiful places in the entire game. The first time, I envy anyone that hasn't done Shadowbringers yet, because not only do you get to experience the Crystarium for the first time, you get to experience the Crystarium for the first time in the redone, improved lighting engine. So you get to see the Crystarium at its fucking peak for the first time. And that is such a... That's gonna blow minds. I won't hide that the Crystarium is the major city for one of my favorite expansions. I think Shadowbringers as a whole is fantastic, and the Crystarium is such a fucking good home city. I think its sort of main guy is really good. Navigationally, there is a few weird layery problems with it, but it's generally quite easy to get around. It looks great, it sounds great. It's not just crystals, as you might imagine from the name. There is some nice other atmospheres in there as well. It is S tier. I'm actually going to put it... We don't do the rankings in between the tiers here, but I'm going to put it above Kagane in the S tier. I'm tempted to make an extra tier as a power gap, because Crystarium should stand on its own. You know what? Crystarium should stand on its own. I'm demoting Kagane to an A tier. I'm demoting Kagane to an A tier because the Crystarium should stand on its own. The Kagane is not on par with the Crystarium. It's so good. Next up, we have Ymore. Ymore is the minor city of Shadowbringers. And Ymore, I have a soft spot for Ymore, because Ymore does that story. Ymore does that story beat, that story sort of arc that I just fucking adore. It's like, it's the city where everything is... It's the city where everything is fine and everyone has everything that they want and everything is perfect. But the minute anyone goes against the authority, they get fucking destroyed. And it's so good. I'm a sucker for that kind of story. Like, as soon as that happened, I was like, it's got me. Ylmore's fucking got me. I love what happens in Ymore. I love the people of Ymore. Ylmore's great. Ylmore's an easy A tier. I'm not just biased for Shadowbringers, I promise. I'm not just trying to unfairly rate all the Shadowbringers stuff really high, but the writing on Shadowbringers is just very fucking good. I don't know what to tell you. Both the Crystarium and Ymore are fantastic. Let's talk about Old Charlan. Old Charlan. See, Old Charlan feels like, and for the people that have been there, this is going to sound like a bit of a out of nowhere fucking statement. Old Charlan feels like a bit of a mirror of Limsa Lominsa visually, because it's on the waterfront. It's predominantly white brickwork with a little bit of sort of wood in there as well. There's multi layers to the geography of it. It feels very much like a mirror of Limsa Lominsa. And while Limsa Lominsa is about piracy and tradecraft, the On the flip side, old Charlan is about so Limsa is about the pursuit of freedom and the pursuit of goods, and the pursuit of like merchantism, mercantilism. In old Charlan they pursue knowledge, and there's a very nice back and forth between old Charlan and Limsa. It's a nice little observation that I had found in my travels. I like old Charlan. It's the little cafe on the dock is really nice in old Charlan. I think generally, I might have to shuffle some shit around because I want to put old Charlan in A tier again, but I think I might have to demote Kagane. No, I can't demote Kagane again. It can't drop from an S tier all the way to a B tier. That's mean. But Idlesha might drop, you know. Idlesha might have to drop. I think Idlesha and Ralga's Reach both have to drop a tier. Because I think Ralga's Reach is a C tier. Yeah, Ralga's Reach is a C tier, and Idlesha is a B tier. And that means Kagane and Ymore are both there, and I can put old Charlan in the A tier with its brother Limsa. That feels right. That feels right to me. Next up, we have. What do we have next? We have Radzat next. Radzat is lovely. Radzat is great. I really, really like the look. The theming of Radzat is this sort of it's this sort of East Asian sort of Indian vibe. The nighttime music for Radzat has just it's the riff for the. Okay, I'm gonna put it on. I'm gonna just put it on for a little bit, so we can pause the music that we're listening to now, and let's listen to the nighttime theme for Radzat, because the nighttime theme for Radzat is phenomenal. Radzat theme night. It's so good. And like the trombone slide is it hits every single time. Like this kind of thing, it fits the area just so fucking well. Listen, it's so good, the trombone. It's so funky. And then it goes. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it just hits so right. It just the slide, it's so good. This is a fantastic night theme. I'm a sucker for brass. I always like brass. I'm a big fan of ska music. I love funky brass in my music, but we love that good trombone gliss. Is that the actual word for the slide? And just to combine this sort of Indian style of music with the big trombone, it goes real good. Rads is another S tier for me. Radzat is an S tier for me, mostly for the nighttime music, because it's so fucking good. And that brings us to the newest expansion, to Glissando is the word. I see. And that brings us back to Dawn Trail, the newest expansion, the newest cities. And that means that we can turn off the Radzat music and go back to the thematically appropriate music we were listening to. The Radzat the theme can go, and the Tuliolal night theme can strike up with more real funky brass. Like, when I heard the daytime music for Tuliolal, I was like, this doesn't fit at all. This is some fucking Donkey Kong Country ass music. And then it got to nighttime. And this started up. And granted, for the city of Tuliolal, this doesn't really fit. But listen to it. You've been listening to it for the last 40 minutes. It's so good as a piece of music. It's just so it's It's driving, but it's backgroundy, and it's so good. It's just so good. But like the rest of Tuliolal, I think navigational wise, I think Tuliolal is a little bit too big. I think it's a little bit too big. Getting around it is kind of a pain in the ass sometimes. So yeah, I think, and obviously the Ethernet network in it is pretty robust, but I think it's a little bit too big. So getting around it is a bit of a faff sometimes, especially if you're not like a Ffsiv range DPS, so you can't like Peloton all the time. So I think it's going to go in B tier. I think it's going to go in B tier because music's great, theming is great, navigation not great. And that brings us to our last minor city, Solution 9, which is, you know, you're looking at this thumbnail. If you've not played through Dawn Trail and you're looking at this thumbnail, you might think, that looks like you've pulled that out of a different game. That looks like you've pulled that out of a completely different game. What the fuck is that? But no, that is Solution 9, the final major city. Well, it's a minor city, but the final city that you hit in Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail. I like Solution 9. I really like Solution 9. It is very different. Just generally, it's very different. But not in a way that feels jarring. Like, it's got this sort of, not quite cyberpunk, but this sort of futurism style to it, which does fit narratively. Like, they introduce it very naturally. It does fit quite narratively quite well. But again, navigationally, to fit all of the funky architecture in, naturally things are quite big. And even for a minor city that Solution 9 is, it's huge. Like, Solution 9 feels almost as big as Kagane, which is absolutely insane. For saying one is a major city with an inn, with a retainer bell, and then Solution 9, it has a retainer bell, and it has the Tombstone gear vendor, and the raids. It has the raids as well, but it feels to me like it's too big, and yeah, there's a bunch of cool looking stuff in there, but there's not enough stuff to do to justify it being as big as it is. You know what I mean? So while it's very good, it's very funky, and actually getting to the important stuff, everything is kind of in the Neon Arcade. I think that's what it's called, the Neon Arcade. Everything important is kind of in the Neon Arcade. So like the Tombstone Vendor, the materials guy, the retainer belt, they're all materials guy is not what I'm talking about, but all the important stuff's kind of in the Neon Arcade. But like the raids are on the opposite. Like the raids are like poked away in the corner, and like the corn servant stuff is like far away as well. Like it's just it's a little bit too big for my liking. So I am gonna put it in C tier. I'm gonna put it in C tier. And this is our finished tier list, ? So D tier, nothing in F tier, because nothing fails as a city state, nothing fails as a city, nothing is like actively hostile to navigate. Closest thing to that is Uldar, and Uldar is our D tier. Uldar is just a bad city. C tier, we've got Ishgard, we've got Rogue's Reach, we've got Solution 9. B tier, we have Gania, Idleshire, and Tuliolal. A tier, Limsa, Kagane, Ymore, and Old Charlan and S tier, Radzathan and the Crystarium. That is our Final Fantasy XIV major and minor cities tier list. I think I'm happy with these ratings. I might make a highlight of this, put it on YouTube. If I did and you're on YouTube, hello. Come watch me live on Twitch. It's very good. But yeah, I think I'm happy with this.